12 days from today until the Hollywood Bowl, which means it's time to Undermind. I didn't plan that out, but I kind of like the way it turned out. Cool. Anyways, yeah, I'm going to listen to Undermind by Phish. Came out in 2004. Looks like it's a 14 song, 50-minute, 35-second banger. So we'll check this one out. I've lived with Round Room a bit, and I do think I just don't like it as much as some of the other albums. I do think lyrically it was fantastic. Musically, I was left in want, I think, for some parts. Not to say it wasn't a good album and not to say the concept wasn't solid, but as I've lived with it a little bit, it just hasn't sang to me the same way some of the other albums have. And I don't think that's a problem. Not every but again, and with that said, all Phish is still good Phish. I still enjoyed the album. I still went back and heard it again. I just didn't like it as much as some of the others. It's going to be really hard to top Rift for me, I think. And honestly, when you get into like the early works like Lawn Boy and Junta, and I don't know really where Nectar. I don't know really how to sort through those ones because I find myself consistently listening to each of them and finding myself like really kind of vibing with different songs on different days. I think it's maybe the beauty of Phish too. But yeah, neither here nor there. I'm gonna hit the play button and we're gonna listen to Undermined. I think that this is right before a really bad thing happened with the Phish from Vermont. '04, as I recall, is when Coventry happened. Am I wrong? Am I wrong? Because I don't think I am. I believe that's like when I saw like this is the last album before like the long hiatus, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, I guess I'm gonna hit the play button. Before I do, it's very important to me that you know that you are awesome, that you are valuable, that you are important, that you matter, that you are deserving of love, and that I am abundantly grateful for even a moment of your time. If you like what you see, feel free to hit the like and the subscribe button. It goes a long way to help me out. And if you really like what you see, leave a comment. I'd love to hear from you, or join us on Twitch. I stream every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. Arizona time. I would love to hear from you. Come discover music with us. Guys, without further ado, let's check out Undermind. Here we go. Sense and subtle sounds.
If you would only start to live one moment at a time, you would, I think, be startled by the things that you would find, like scents you never noticed, and many subtle sounds, like colors in the landscape and textures of the time.
I like this.
Would lift you up into the sky above, and you'd be treated to a view of everything you love. Everything you love. And if the moment passes, you should try it once again. For if you do it right, you'll find the moment never ends.
If you would only stop to live one moment at a time, you would, I think, be startled by the things that you would find. Like scents you never noticed in many subtle sounds, like colors in the landscape and textures of the town. And the winds will lift you up into the sky above, and you'd be treated to a view of everything you love. If you think you love everything you love, and if the moment passes, you should try it once again. For if you do it right, you'll find the moment never ends. That is intense, like psychedelic imagery, but it's also just, I think, whether you've had a psychedelic experience or not, something that somebody can kind of understand. When I look at, I feel like every time I talk about, and maybe it's just because it's part of my personal lexicon, but like I think living in the moment is a really, really big way I was able to kind of overcome my demons with addictions, you know? And it's not to say that like I'm all better, because I'm not. Like I'm on a great streak that I hope will continue for the rest of my life, right? But when I consider this, so much of it started by like living it in the moment. Um and recognizing like I can choose to experience in this moment happiness or sadness. And yes, I learned a lot of these lessons through traversing through a sobriety journey. But I think that it applies to really anything besides just sobriety. I think serenity in general does, but um I don't know. I think it can apply to anxieties too. I think if I can be conscientious enough about my problems with things, uh, I can also be conscientious enough about my own anxieties, right? And when I started connecting that living in the moment applied to so many different other areas besides just sobriety, like the way I handle myself. If I get frustrated, for example, I used to say things in my brain or aloud like F you, Walter. And it occurred to me, right? I shouldn't do that. Because I think eventually you start kind of buying into those things. And I think if you live in the moment and you're like, okay, I shouldn't be hard on myself. And if you're conscientious about trying to do that, and again, that's just one detail, but I can't get past how actually eloquent this idea is painted out, because when you do live in the moment and you start thinking about the things both good and bad, and not just the things bad or not just the things bad to come, you start noticing other things, like you have interests that you didn't realize, or you see beauty in places you hadn't otherwise seen it. For me, that experience was waking up really early and going for a walk, and I saw the sunrise. Couldn't tell you the last time I'd seen a sunrise, and for me, that was a beauty I hadn't paid attention to, and I was just going for a walk, which is something I'd not really done at that point of my life. So I definitely think it's very important, no matter who you are or what you deal with, to live in a moment. If this is on their end kind of a like, I don't know who wrote these lyrics here, so I'm not going to suppose what they're about besides just simply living in a moment and talking about how, for me, living in a moment mattered, but perhaps for you too. Notice the sense and subtle sounds. Earl Grey's killing it today, guys. I really enjoyed Sense. Oh, crap. I meant to. So now we have the title track. Kind of a bluesy thing, huh?
Undecided, undefined, undisturbed yet undermined, relocated, not retired, reprimanded and rewired, mystified and misshapen,
The harmonies,
but not mistaken.
This is a really, again, when you come from like, I don't want to say the word, but it's the only really way I know how to say it. Like whatever the Romani, the gypsy, whatever the gypsy sound is. I'm not trying to say gypsy in an offensive way. I just don't want to mispronounce the word. I think it's Romani. I'm not trying to offend anybody. I hope yous know that. But going from this vibe, which almost has like a Dangerous Circus game kind of like playful horror vibe to it, right? It's a pretty big, I think, juxtaposition from what you hear lyrically, and then you head here to this kind of reimagined bluesy thing, and I'm getting the guitar a lot in the left, keys in the right, bass dead center.
retired, reprimanded and rewired, mystified and misshapen, misinformed.
Really
but
love the
not
harmony works here.
mistaken.
This is tight music.
Reinvented, redefined, rearranged but not refined, unrelenting, understrokes, undeterred yet unprovoked, reinvented, redefined, rearranged but not refined, mystified and misshapen, misinformed but not mistaken, undecided, undefined.
It's crazy to think that I started off listening to Rift and like that this is the same band 11 years removed that is playing Rift. I feel, bereft of mustard.
Undecided, undefined, undisturbed but undermined, relocated, not retired.
I don't mind it though.
Ended and rewired.
It's a different kind of vibe.
Mystified
It's kind of a more good vibes, dancey kind of vibe.
misinformed but not mistaken, reinvented, redefined, rearranged but not refined.
It certainly feels like there's multiple guitar parts. So I don't know if this is overdubs
Misinformed but not mistaken, reinvented,
or loops.
redefined, rearranged,
Anybody
but
have
not refined.
because this is certainly a much grander studio approach than what Round Room was. Round Room certainly had moments, as I've said, and I'll continue to say, like, it's not nearly as dunk-worthy as other people have made it out to be, but it was not my personal favorite Phish album, just one I'll revisit from time to time. In this context, though, I can't get past how just different this feels compared to Round Room in just sonic quality alone. But it also feels like they kind of played around again. The guitar sound is very, very, very different. It's almost got like we recently listened to like a jazz fusion artist or a fusion jazz artist, and it kind of is giving me that sort of vibe. But I can't think of the gentleman's name right now. I'll have to look into it.
Mistaken, reinvented, redefined,
That noise.
but not refined, unrelenting, understroked, undeterred, yet
The bass walking
unprovoked,
is so tasty.
undecided, undefined.
What's that? That's a clav, is it? Is it a low clav? I love the page heavy moments. I do love the vamp jam.
Undecided, undefined, undisturbed yet undermined, relocated, not retired, reprimanded and rewired, mystified and misshapen, misinformed but not mistaken, reinvented, redefined, rearranged but not refined.
I guess I almost get the feeling that this song is singing about change, but everything is staying the same. Maybe? I don't know. I'd love your impression.
Unrelenting, understroked, undeterred yet unprovoked, undecided, undefined,
Page is MVP on this song.
Undecided, undefined.
I like this. What's happening though?
Undecided,
Nice.
undefined. Undecided, undefined. Undecided, undefined. Undecided, undefined.
Not my favorite Phish song. Not a bad song. Not my favorite Phish song. I like hearing the crowd. I think I'm kind of undecided on Undermind, the song. I'm going to need to live with it a bit. The connection.
When I see the connection, though I see, I don't stare. Though I see, I don't stare.
I like this one way better already.
When I'm lost in my reflection, though I see, I don't stare. Though I see, I don't stare. Then I change my direction. One foot follows the other. One foot follows something new. 'Cause I need some protection.
I want to hear the mic bass goes high moment there. That was good stuff.
'Cause I need some protection.
I guess I should have done it this way, because he doesn't do this.
I could lose it if I stare, you'll be gone. When I need some attention, though I see, I don't stare. Though I see, I don't stare.
I like the guitar and whistle in tandem. That is kind of a cool bit. And I like the organ work. I feel like this is absolutely a song that could soar. This is absolutely a song
When
waiting
I
to soar.
see the connection, though I see, I don't stare. Though I see, I don't stare. When I'm lost in my reflection, though I see, I don't stare.
I really like this one.
I don't stare. Then I change my direction. One foot follows the other. One foot follows something new. 'Cause I need some protection. And I'm scared I could lose it. If I stare, you'll be gone.
I like that one. When I see the connection, though I don't stare. When I'm lost in reflection, though I don't stare, then I change my direction. One foot follows the other to something new. Because I need protection, and I'm scared I could lose it. If I stare, you'll be gone. When I need some attention, though I don't stare. I relate to that one. A song I heard the ocean sing. Oh, I like this. Is that's a really aggressive tremolo. Some fuzzies. It's like a phaser too, maybe?
A song I heard the ocean sing. A shining light in darkness deep.
Really like this.
A
This is a really, really cool use of imagery here. And I think it's again, a song that could kind of tie into any person if that's just reflecting. It doesn't really matter what they're reflecting on. I think that you can put yourself here and identify to yourself what you feel like the shining light in darkness deep is, you know? Um, for and I love this concept. For every season that I slide, I pray the prayer. I pray the prayer into the tide. Or I pray the prayer. I pray the prayer into the tide, a shining light in darkness deep. I really, yeah. Even in the way they do that, they kind of throw the rhyme from time to time, and the rhyme scheme doesn't matter nearly as much as what the words do to the music. And I really just I like this kind of and like this old like the way he's got his voice kind of reverby. It's got like psychedelia elements to it, but it's also, got kind of like, I mean, I guess they are like considered in 80s and 90s and 2000. Well, I guess they're a band. I not stuck to a time zone, I don't guess, but maybe you'd probably call them a 90s band. An 80s band, 80s 90s band, I don't know. Neither here nor there. I like that they incorporate kind of different, it feels like anyway, different generations of psychedelia, like in psychedelic rock, have been incorporated into this thing. Shining light in darkness deep. Like that guitar tone sounds very much like I don't know, maybe when the levee breaks. I'm getting a Led Zeppelin sound from the guitar here. That one. Shining light in darkness deep. 10 years before the mass. No, it's Floyd. Well, maybe it is Zeppelin. This one rocks. Yes. I like how big the drums get here. Huge and open. Definitely some David Gilmour sounds here. Echoes. And like Wish You Were Here era. So far, certainly my favorite on the album. No, the guitar is just primarily panned left. And then there's that tremolo again. Easily my favorite song in the last two albums. You hear that clicking, that the little popping sounds? That was him switching pickups. Both clean and dirty in his approach, and I really like that. This one is great. This is probably one I want to hear live, honestly. I hope I get this one at the bowl. Because I can hear how this one would wail. I also think that, like, this is certainly the last two albums, I feel like, really put into album context my idea that when you listen to the albums, they're like a blank canvas of, like, you know, that was the canvas of a song I heard the ocean sing. And when they do it live, they'll start painting on that canvas. And I've kind of come to expect and accept, like, from the albums forward, it's probably going to be more of that, where I'm hearing like a canvas for jam vehicles. And I hope that's the case, because now that I've heard a little bit of each of the different generations, I think, each of the different eras, and kind of have an idea what the what comes with each, and that they kind of have blended them together now. I'm excited to hear any kind of take of that song. Army of One. Here we go. Ooh. Really loving the blues feel.
Northern dilemma. Of the Arctic begin to unfold.
Is this Paige? Who's singing?
In a circle, facing the sun. Get what you can now. Winter is on. The truth on condition. Never dig deep.
It wasn't as bluesy punch you in the face as I wanted it. Like, I wanted him to punch me in the eye. I see what I did there with that solo. Like, because I know I've heard Trey play guitar, and as a blues lover, I really felt like, man, I'm gonna get blues Trey. Which now leads me to the question and challenge for the comment section. What's the best blues Trey? It's got to be out there, right? I'm hearing this music, so I can only imagine Trey is also a guy that likes the blues. How do these guys handle a 12 bar? Can you get me an example of these guys handling a 12 bar?
Light up the city, hide in so strange. You better take cover. It's love at close range. Oh, so a mission. Cover of dark. Army of one now. Don't let down your guard.
I just the words "army of one" kind of connected this to me. Is this like there are elements of this that kind of feel like I don't want to suppose anything, and maybe I could be making comment dot connections here, but it almost there are parts of this that feel like a farewell of sorts. Um, but there's also I don't know. It's definitely it feels like an album on a journey or documenting a journey.
Sit in a circle, facing the sun. Soak it in while you can. Winter is on. I got no answer, but you got no call. I just can't compete with the weight of it all.
This one's beautiful, dude. I said earlier that I wanted Fish wondered how Fish handled a 12 bar. Isn't Chalk Dust a 12 bar?
Silent treatment, stone in the rain, bright shining doorway, trying to remain. Northern dilemma, call of the cold, the arms of the Arctic begin to unfold. Sit in a circle, facing the sun. Soak it in while you can. Winter's on. I got no answer, but you got no call. I just can't compete with the weight of it all.
I would love to hear this one too. The oohs and ahs. I think he's playing everything here in the pentatonic, right? This was a beautiful one. I really, really liked that. This concept of winter is coming. This concept of seasons are changing. Again, there is a big comment on change here throughout the entirety of the album. But it also feels like there's a little bit of like you're kind of looking at bad times a coming and you're just kind of stuck there like a deer in headlights without any clue what to do is how I interpret it. um and again, and maybe I could be totally wrong here. Maybe he's really just talking about how frigid the northern winters are. Um, but Army of One, and was this a Page song? Because again, this was that. I mean, the bluesy thing, the jammy thing, the keys. I say again, Page has certainly been MVP of the album to me so far. Crowd control.
Listen now, I'm talking. I've been here for weeks, waiting in this growing crowd, staring at my feet. The world around me's turning. I'm just standing still.
Okay.
The time's come for changes. Do something or I will.
Remember of a couple of moments ago, and then a few moments ago before that, even, and then one more other time, probably moments before that, where I said this album has really felt like there has been a theme of change.
I'm a feather in a storm. I'm a raindrop in the sea.
Is this album maybe like a farewell of like an actual? Did they know that this was their last thing going into it?
If I don't get
Their last thing?
enough of you, I'm a lighter shade of me. Sisters, brothers all around you. There's a devil in the crowd. Me desire,
Love
it's
that
the
jump
end of-
transition. The idea, I frequently tell people, like, if I don't know what's going on, if I'm stressed, if I'm anxious, if I'm just like, all right, screw it, whatever happens happens, I frequently tell people I'm a leaf in the wind. So his comment that he's like a feather in the wind, right? A feather in a storm. I'm a raindrop in the sea. Like, you're being blown all over the place and completely insignificant and small. It's lyricism I relate to, you know?
I'm a feather in a storm. I'm a raindrop in the sea. If I don't get enough of you, I'm a lighter shade of me. Sisters, brothers all around you.
If I don't get enough of you, like if I am lacking, I'm a lighter shade of me. If I'm lacking without you, I'm better for me, maybe.
There's a devil in the crowd. Me desire, it's the end of time. If your brain don't be loud. It's crowded in the lowlands, but the fools stay on the hill. You control us now, you have the reins. Do something or we will. So show us why we came here. Before we lay on the ground, give it to us loud and clear. Make the devil turn around. The world around me's turning. I'm just standing still. The time has come for changes. Do something or I will.
I would like to ask actually a pretty serious question here. I have frequently been told in people's discussion of the Fish from Vermont that they watched it firsthand evolve into something dark and kind of scary and very drug fueled, and you know, like what was a pure thing for the love of music was somehow demented, and at least that's what some people's impression of it was. And as I go through these lyrics and as I hear this song, like I cannot help but feel like they are saying that it's the people watching, you know, like they're saying, like, and it feels like he's literally, they're commenting on like the fact that there's sisters and brothers everywhere. Like everybody is family, but there is a devil in the midst of that family. And I feel like the devil that is being referred to here. And again, please tell me if you think that this is just like a comment section that's been following this journey with me, getting into my head and like planting seeds that maybe wouldn't even grow. But it does feel like even when they're saying like you're staring at our feet, You know what I mean? Waiting in this growing crowd, staring at my feet, the world around me turning. I'm just standing still. The time has come for change. Just do something or I will. It almost feels like they're kind of addressing their own human nature. Like, hey, we are just insignificant people blowing in the wind, just the same as any of the rest of yous are. We're just up here standing still. There's something crazy. And I think when you throw in human emotion and like you look at the fact that they are just humans too, and everybody has struggles, I think maybe it personifies them in a way that, and again, maybe I'm connecting dots that don't need to be connected. But it does feel like this is addressing a very specific something that I've heard so many people speak so deeply and passionately about. So I would very much like your context and interpretation of this. And again, I can't get past how much more to me this particular one is than what Round Room was. Even if it's like kind of rooted in some tough concept and lyricism. It's more digestible to me. I really want to know as many. Please, everybody, give me the context in as much as you can. I'll read the comments. I typically do, but please, I really want to know not only what you who was it that wrote this one was first of all. Second of all, do you feel like this is an address towards the problems that that I've heard so many people talk about, or do you think that this is completely unrelated? I can't imagine that. I don't know. I'm sitting here feeling like this is a. It's kind of a loud proclamation, like we're people too, and just as susceptible to the problems of the world as everybody else is. So like you guys need to fix yourselves or we can't keep being us because it's making it hard for us to fix ourselves. That I'm a lighter lyric really stood out to me. I'm a light. If I don't get enough of you, I'm a lighter shade of me. What a way to say it. Time's come for changes. Do something or I will. Time's come for changes. Is this one that gets played live a lot? Time's come for changes. Do something or I will. I feel like Trey has had more thought out and hashed out leads in this, even if they don't set off like the machine gun that we're familiar with. It feels like by comparison to Round Room, they are much more hashed out and pieced together ideas. Maggie's Revenge. Love this drum and bass right now. Big and open. Big and spacey. We've got a lot of like kind of fun, big farty noises happening with all the instruments. Big, chaotic, ambient, spacey, nuts mess. But it's like I now no longer feel as though I am bereft of mustard. Big phasing. That was a fun way to spend a minute 43. It's not a bad way to spend a minute 43. Okay.
Nothing's ensconced, nothing's entrenched, nothing's entangled or twisted or wrenched. Everything smoothly flows right through my head. What I had hoped might linger is swept off instead. Tunnels and channels and chasms and rifts, shiny
Feels a little self-referential there. I kind of like that.
streams and unclimbable cliffs. I see you there ever so slowly being drawn to the sea.
I also liked the meter of that lyric. I see you there ever so slowly being drawn to the sea. That was just a good way to sing
You
it.
there ever so slowly being drawn to the sea. As if by some signal that's unheard by me.
The guitar and the keys panning, real nice.
Featureless sheet of blue stone. And then for one instant, I'm not quite alone. Your hand is extended, but then you rescind. And you, like my thoughts, are borne off by the wind. Nothing's ensconced, nothing.
The answers are blowing in the wind, my friend.
Entrenched, nothing's entangled or twisted or wrenched. Everything smoothly flows right through my head. What I had hoped might linger is swept off instead.
Is that a way of saying like in one ear and out the other, didn't remember a thing? Nothing got through or something to that nature? Like nothing retained.
Nothing's ensconced, nothing's entrenched, nothing's entangled or twisted or wrenched. Everything smoothly flows right through my head. What I had hoped might linger is swept off instead. What I had hoped might linger is swept off instead. What I had hoped might linger is swept off instead.
There's almost like an accordion sound in the background. This is nice. I enjoyed this one. It wasn't like my favorite on the album, but it was nice, and I did feel like there was a little bit of a comment on like one's own mental condition here, or like like mental cohesion, one's own reflection of their own mental cohesion. Um, but it also, I don't know. This is genuinely just felt like a very honest album. Like it really does feel like they're telling a lot of things like they are. Two versions of me.
Since fall, 8 eons of sand, 7 oceans began. Now there is none, no more light from the sun. Now waters run free, no more fish in the sea.
This album is kind of it's almost like a sad reflection of the way it's ending for them or something.
One more name on the slate. One less minute to wait. Too busy to see. Two versions of me. One more bottle is dry. One less reason to try. One more name on the slate. One less minute to wait. Too busy to see. Two versions of me. One more bottle is dry. One less reason to try. 6 feet underneath. 5 fingers don't reach. 4 seconds it seems.
They counted down,
For all of our dreams.
and then when it goes into that
Away.
chorus,
2 children at play. Too busy to see. 2 versions of me. 2 versions of me. 2 versions of me. 2 versions of me.
am I hearing a harmonica? Regardless of what your background is, my prayer is that God grants you the serenity to accept the things that you cannot change, the courage to change the things you can, and the wisdom to know the difference. That's all I'm going to say about this one.
The first time I came over, I was bitten by your dog.
I'm so glad it's not another serious one. Maybe, I don't know. It came in silly, and honestly, I kind of needed a just not serious moment there, so that I'm very thankful. The first time I came over, I'm very thankful for that. Golly,
The first time I came over, I was bitten by your dog.
is this a Mike song?
You weren't even there, cause you were walking in the fog. I call you up and plead and beg and talk to your machine. My friends say not to bother when you're acting pretty mean. But I don't need to bother you, no, I won't.
Somebody go and fix the Spotify lyrics, please. There's enough Phish fans out there that we should be able to do something about this. Why are somebody get a touch of musics with an X match?
Play that part.
There's gotta be enough of us to make this happen.
I just want access to the inside of your heart. Access to your thoughts on the way that I should be. So I could start to change and maybe you could access me, access me. Access me. You could tell me all about all the things you did at work. The guy who sits beside you and how he's acting like a jerk. And you don't have to open up the secrets of your soul. But if that's the place you want me, I'd be glad to pay the toll. But I don't need to bother you, no, I won't play that part. I just want access to the inside of your heart. Access to your thoughts on the way that I should be. So I could start to change and maybe you could access me, access me.
Melissa, call me after you see this. I love this song a lot. It's hit me in the place of life. Minus the dog thing. I love this guitar sound. The sustain in the background. It almost sounds like he's using an Ebo, but I don't think he is. I think it's just his fingies. Or whammy pedal. That sounds like an Ebo, though. This was the song I immediately wanted to listen to again. Just so you know, this was the one I almost wanted to you want to just run the whole thing back? That's probably the first song I'm going to listen to at the end of this one. I got a big old friggin' warm heart smile out of that. And I really needed it after the song right before. Because I was fighting hard to keep myself put together. So I didn't, you know. I can't help what hits me close to home. I can't help that they write relatable things to me. Sure, I'm an emotional dude. I wear my heart on my sleeve. This is what this is. But I can't say I'm a pretty introspective and self-aware dude. And, I think a big reason I have been as dedicated to my resolve as I've been is because I've not been afraid to talk about it once I decided to talk about it. It's not always like fun, awesome, or proud stuff, but like, here we are. And I like this version of me better. Trust me, you like this version of me better too. I promise. Sense and subtle sounds. Did I? Okay. So, ooh. Okay. Live in the moment. Let's go. really like this one.
If you would stop and notice that we number every day, but allow the many moments left uncounted slip away. You don't have to count them, just enjoy them one by one. And things would take a different hue and sparkle in the sun. The winds would lift you up into the sky.
I like that. Wow, this part reminds me of something.
In the sun, the winds would lift you up into the sky. The winds would lift you up into the sky above.
Harmony's
When you
great.
would see a trail of treasured memories you love, a rainbow record of the thoughts and moments you've enjoyed. Arcs behind the earth as spectral colors in the void.
I really, really would love this one to be played live someday in front of my face.
In the void.
Man, this is nice.
Sense and subtle sounds. Sense and subtle sounds.
I love this progressive build-up. We went from very, very small. There's just a really wonderful soundscape and openness to this. Again, this is one that I can absolutely just see soaring in a live context. This is so beautiful. Everything from the major key uplifting feeling behind it, the instrumentation, the soundscapey ambience, the kind of round vibe that they had going on. Tomorrow's song. Today I sing tomorrow's song.
Today I sing tomorrow's song. In this place learn to wait. In this place learn to
Dun 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 dun.
Today I sing tomorrow's song. Today I sing tomorrow's song. Today I sing tomorrow's song.
It's like when you take reverb and too much flange, but you put it on a voice instead of a guitar.
In this place we learn to wait. In this place we learn to wait. In this place we learn to wait.
There's also a sense of like foreshadowing what's coming, like whether they knew it or not, lyrically going into it. This has felt like a less abstract project by our boys, and it's felt like it's been much more poignant about what they're trying to express, and it lacks some of the mega whalers, right? It doesn't have, the solo from Maze, okay, right? It doesn't have the note from Yem, right? But it's, I think, leaning in quite successfully, I would say, at any rate, really well on what just feels like a cohesive album. It's certainly not like a magnum opus of any sorts, but it's good. And I'm hearing kind of the concepts of what I can imagine would turn into really wonderful performances live. And again, I think perhaps I'm projecting these thoughts or ideas, but I think in a lot of ways it really addresses what I seem to what seems to have been going on in the time period, right? And to have the benefit of hindsight, use more than me, of course, I would be interested to hear your perspective on this album now, looking back at how far they've come since then. Please tell me. Like, how do you guys look at this? How does this album speak to you now with the retrospect that you have and the story that you've seen them live since then? Is maybe the way I was trying to ask. A secret smile. Feels emotional.
Sometimes when the evening's young,
Ballady.
dies down the setting sun, crochets the clouds with yards so fine, and fills the oceans with red wine.
This page moment right now, this page and tray moment right now, there's such a beauty and seriousness to this.
Sometimes when the evening's young,
you can hear emotion in his voice.
Down the setting sun, crochets the clouds with yards so fine,
and this piano
and fills the oceans with red wine. The trees, the sky,
who did the strings?
Bring a flavor to the air.
Both of them. You got one here, one here.
In a while, you answer with a secret smile. Hold on.
Oh, man.
Hold on.
This is such a low emotion.
An airborne leaf that landed near has carried Dionysus here. He'll slip away, but only when he sees our glasses filled again. Sometimes when the evening's young, the wind dies down, the setting sun crochets the clouds.
Dionysus was the god of like party and drink, wasn't he? Hang on. Dionysus. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Festivity. He's also associated with fertility, madness, and ecstasy. Thought so. I was pretty sure that that was the case. So that further solidifies something to me because, man, look at that liberal arts education just coming in clutch there. An airborne leaf that landed near has carried Dionysus here. I slip away, but only when he sees our glasses filled again. Sometimes when the evening's young, the wind dies down, the setting sun crochets the cloud.
With the art so fine, it fills the oceans with red.
It almost feels like he just spells it out, like right there. It almost feels like he just is coming out and saying, like, hey, I am spinning out. We all are. And every time we get some clarity, Dionysus. And golly, if that's not a relatable feeling to me. And maybe I'm, again, connecting dots that aren't there, but that is exactly what it felt like anytime I would try to just stop doing whatever it was I was doing in my battle with my vices. That's really as explainable as you can make it. It's never like you always quit with like the plan to quit, and then X, Y, or Z happens. Bad day at work. Somebody's like, "Oh, you quit?" No, you didn't. Whatever the case may be, there's always a Dionysus element to almost anything. I maybe should make the clarification that if you are a person that had like served the god Dionysus, so to speak, this is something you contend with forever. I really has like that connection really just hits hard.
Sometimes when the evening's young, the wind dies down, the setting sun crochets the clouds with the art so fine, it fills the oceans with red wine.
string accompaniment is amazing. I love hearing him soloing his leads in this context. Honestly, like his slow hand approach is really nice. I think when I was kind of losing myself, it was the love of other people that kind of helped me connect that I needed to love me too. And it was other people holding on to me that kind of helped me, move into a place of life I like a lot better. And it was in accepting the love of other people that I think in a lot of ways I learned to love myself. And even people loving me in my toughest places to be loved, May you have somebody in your life worth holding on to, and may you be worth holding on to somebody. I think we should all be so lucky. And being held on to, obviously in any context, it doesn't have to be just because like I come with the set of experiences of like divorce or sobriety or career change or cross country move, whatever. Like it's just a life, right? Like we've all got our own stuff. You've got your equivalent of your big in your face life moments where you needed somebody to hold on to you. And my prayer is that when you're there, so too will they be. This has actually been a tremendously wonderful album. I think I really, 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 really like this. Especially I think one of the many beautiful things about music is that it's subjective, just the same way as art is. A picture is going to mean something different to one person than another. A song is going to mean something different to one person than another. And it's in that difference that the special magic in art happens. Because it can mean something very, very, very deeply to each of us. And yet, at its core, totally different to each of us. And then still further, totally different than what the original intention of the writing was. And in all of that difference of perspective and interpretation, there is still somehow understanding. And that, to me, is one of the many magical components that is music. And Secret Smile, absolutely a tremendous song. Golly. I'm so glad.
Grind, 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 grind. I can bend in 68 ways. I have lived for 12,000 days. 28 teeth inside of my head. Grind 3 types of things and I'm sad that they're dead.
This is almost got me choked up too.
In 68 ways, and I have lived for 12,000
Why?
years. 28 teeth inside of my head. Grind 3 types of things and I'm sad that they're dead. Grind, 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 grind.
It's a good score. It's a beautiful album. I felt related to it. I smiled. I laughed. I maybe didn't get my head blown off with virtuosic performances, but I heard some. I really, honestly, would score this album pretty high. And perhaps there's a recency bias, but I would score it pretty high for different reasons. I think everybody is allowed to make up their own list based on whatever friggin' gorilla math score they want to. And to me, sentiment happens to relate really high in the way I would score an album. Rift, first Phish album, right? How is that not, and then the relatability to it. When I listened to Rift for the first time, I was in a weird place of life and trying to kind of put things together. Literally, the monthly album tour that I do on Tuesdays, where day one of that, the first day I started doing it was Phish and this band called Gnome, and that was the thing I was gonna do. I made a schedule. I was really sad for a long period of time, and I was trying to pull myself out of a depressive funk. And I made a video saying I'm challenging myself to do something about this because I can't handle this anymore. I'm sad and I'm lonely, and I don't know how to not be sad or lonely. And everything I seem to do, like I worked so hard to get a clear, sober head, and once I had it, I didn't know what to do with it. And so I leaned into making videos, and I found a lot of fulfillment. I found I smiled more. I found I wanted to go and do other things the more I invested in things I liked and the more I chased music that I enjoyed. And, you know, Rift was kind of day one of that. It's funny, but it's how it is. And to me, listening to Phish and all of the wonderful things that have happened in my life since then, which are very unrelated. I mean, they're things I did for myself, but I made them happen for myself. And part of that was I tried something for me, and I found this band and I fell in love. And when I think about how far I have come since I first listened to Rift, and I think about the community I have found of just positive, wonderful people. When I think about the songs I've heard along the way, the branch off that came from listening to Phish like stuff, like getting into Zappa. There was a lot of different things that happened. I met a wonderful person, and all of these things kind of lined up. And yes, they were happening as I was making other corrections in my life to try to address myself being happy. But to me, I cannot separate the sound of Phish from the good changes that happened in my life. I can't do it. And I guess when I hear this album, and when I heard this album and the theme of change, I've been in a really big phase of change in my life, and I'm seeing that things are really working out, and I'm happy. And I guess that's just not really a thing that somebody can quantify. I'm happy. And this was a wonderful album, and it got me to be introspective about the fact that I was happy. And I think that that's pretty cool. I love you guys. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much for the positivity that you show both to me and to one another. Continue to be the best. And until I see you next, be introspective and consider the birds. Goodbye.